There's no compromising in totality of myself. And I don't want nobody to compromise completely who they are just to be with me. Like, that's unfair to them. At that point, when you want a person to compromise everything for you, you're being completely selfish.
Happy Wednesday, Elevators, and welcome to episode 18 of the She Elevates podcast. And this is the last podcast of 2021.
Wow.
I know.
Oh my God.
I am Gail, your personal development coach.
I'm Jessica, your financial strategist.
And I'm Tammy, your spiritual motivator.
And Antoinette is our producer. And guys, so we're just fresh off of Christmas. See the tree?
Yes.
My tree is actually going to be up till the end of January.
Well, baby, I took mine down on the 26th.
What?
All decorations, like, did she have
all decorations?
Did she have Christmas at her
No
house?
signs of Christmas.
I just got those wreaths on the window, but I'm like Jessica, we coming down.
Oh my goodness, yeah. I drag it out. So I put it up the day after Thanksgiving. I'm kicking the turkey down with Santa Claus, and to the end of January. So yeah, I stretch my holiday out as far as possible. But yeah, so this is the last podcast of the year, and our next live is going to be in the new year. So guys, how were your holidays?
Mine was absolutely amazing. We had the Christmas Eve family pajama party. We did karaoke. Oh. It was just so much of fun. And for Christmas morning, I normally get the kids up about 6:30 in the morning. Normally,
so you wake them up, Jessica?
No, that's what I would normally do. But this year it was a little bit different. Madison was calling me on her cell phone at 5:00 in the morning, like, Mom, we open our gifts. I was like, girl, wait a minute. And then when 6:30 got here, I go to wake up Bryson. He was like, Mom, let me finish my dream. I was like, no way. If you want to finish your dream, I'm going to bed and I'm going to finish mine.
I want to finish my dream. That's right, Bryson. Don't let nothing stop your dreams.
I love it.
Oh my God, that is so much fun. Yeah. I kind of took the easy route. I went to, we just had a small gathering at my cousin's house. It was very, very nice. I didn't have to cook a lot of food. I just kind of took
Always
a little.
Good.
Oh my goodness! But we really had a great time. We played the game. Is it hashtag culture tags? So this is where, my goodness.
I loved it my first time playing it.
I've never heard of it.
It's Black owned. Yeah, let's tell about it.
Party. It was fun.
It's like a Black owned company created this game where you have to come up with the sayings that are in our culture, like where they do that at. So they'll have like WD.
Did you do the biblical one?
Oh my God, church. There's some different categories like family and friends, Black lives, church.
We were killing the men when it came to the church.
I was like, come on, y'all. I don't know if I had the church crew there. They was like, what? And they had it was a lot of fun. We laughed, and I just kind of pulled it out. I bought it for that reason. I said, well, I'm going to take this, and that'll kind of help, break the ice and give us.
So what is it called?
Culture tags.
Culture tags.
Yes, that is a great. I highly recommend it, and especially for family gatherings. At first you're like, what? I can't come up with these, and then it's like, I
wait a minute. Telling the men, I was like, y'all be on social media too much because they whooped our butt. But when it came to the church ones, we whooped them.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Then we had millennials were really good with the sort of that social media. Yeah, Black Lives. I don't know. They had different categories, but that was a lot of fun.
Yeah,
everything.
You should try it.
Yeah,
I'm definitely going to get that.
Enjoy it. Culture
okay. So yeah, I was in the bed Christmas Day with a cold. So we my family, Antoinette, and the grandkids, they FaceTimed me that morning so that I could see the kids open the gifts. So usually I spend the night over there Christmas Eve and we do the whole matching pajamas thing. But yeah, I was sick, so I was in the bed.
Hey, but you were getting some well-deserved rest, right?
Well-deserved rest. And you know, Tammy knows I'm the queen of lounge anyway, so I wasn't too,
that wasn't
too
like so
upset.
That wasn't, I was going to say, that wasn't hard for her, Jessica. She's not upset about it. No, she's not depressed. She's like, I'm in my castle. Love it. I love it.
Yes, absolutely. So, okay. To the podcast. So what did we talk about last week? We talked about enabling, how enabling causes people to be unable to, play on words, but to live healthy, independent, and responsibly. And, it's really a thin line for us nurturers because we always want to help. So, we just have to make sure we're not enabling. So when you finish watching this episode, go back and watch the helping versus enabling episode, because we talked about a lot of good things and you might find yourself in there somewhere. So yeah, go take a look at that. And this week we are talking about how sometimes when we're talking about relationships and how sometimes we can put on a facade of happiness when we're with our significant other outside of the home, but inside of the home, it's a totally different story. And, we know there can be many reasons that that can be going on. And so we talked about significant other, first of all, just to be clear in relationships and when you really are not happy to the point where you're thinking about divorce or separating. And so, so as far as the way you appear outside instead of inside, it could be instead of the reality of what's going on inside, could be a lot of reasons. And one is a lot of people struggle with change. And I know when we were at work, and Tammy, you remember this, we had this whole change management process. If something new was coming down the pipe, like we were going to have a different process or whatever, we would have to go through this whole change management process because people struggle with change. People like things the way they are, and sometimes it's hard to do something different. And so a lot of times when people are in a relationship and they aren't necessarily happy, they would rather stay in that place than to have to change and do something different. So that's one reason that people could be doing that. I know another reason could be social pressure, like church or your friends. Sometimes you don't want to be the only person single in the group, or in church, they say it's better to marry than to burn, or, divorce is frowned upon. So just as everybody is unique and everybody is different, there could be a million reasons why people sometimes will put on the facade of being happy. So you never know. But that's what we're talking about today. And so, ladies, I'm going to throw the ball over to you to hear what you have to say on the topic.
Tammy, would you like to
this is almost like one of those the dark side of friendships. This is the dark side of relationships.
Oh my God, but it's real and I love it because it is real. While I'm team marriage, right? I'm like, hang in there, you can work it out. But I understand there has to be a change, right? Sometimes to occur before we can be happy. And so I love the fact that you brought up change management because think about, I just love that because our past life when we were working, there was a whole effort before we even implemented the program. I mean, and I think, how smart were they, right, to realize we have to get these employees on board with this change, and we have to talk about this change. We have to bring them together and help them understand it. It was a whole process. So think about if we did that in our marriage, because I believe when we grow, things start out. Let's go with the honeymoon phase. I don't remember. My mother took us through these phases, right? When you're in a relationship and in the beginning, it's honeymoon, or you can talk about seasons, right? About my summer season, spring, winter, whatever. So in that honeymoon phase, everything is just, hi, I love you, you love me. We can just do everything together and we agree on everything. And then after a while, you go through that next phase, and I don't have those in front of me, but you go through that phase when reality sits in and it's like, maybe I don't want to do this anymore. Or maybe now I'm seeing some things that I don't like or appreciate, but am I being honest and transparent with the other person? And so there you talk about change. And what is that process? It starts with communication, right? Let's communicate. I just think we are all important enough, and especially elevators. You matter. I think it's mentally, physically important, right? That we are transparent and open. So if you can't talk to your significant other, you need to find a counselor, you need to find somebody, and then you need to figure out, how can I get this thing, work this out or whatever, so I can be in a happy place, because that's important, and there's some compromise. We understand in marriage and relationships, right? I mean, I can go on and on. I've been married for 10 years, seems like forever. Okay, so I understand, but you can grow together. You hear the phrase, we grew apart. And I think that happens when we don't communicate, right? And you're, like Gail said, you put on this facade, and I'm just agreeing with everything. Hi. But then sometimes, I'll give you this one, then I'm going to pass the mic, Jess. When you may see a couple, let me say it like this, that's holding hands and that's always together and they go places. I mean, I know a couple, they went to the salons together. Like she went with him to the barbershop. He went with her to the salon, and they just did everything together. And then here we are, me and my husband, we different. I'm like, but guess what? I want to be at the barbershop. So I didn't compare myself. I said, well, they're being true to them and I'm going to be true to me. So, but later on, and then they're holding hands. Let's go over there in church. And I was young. I'm going to tell you, when I saw that couple, or when I found out that they were divorcing, I was like, no. But they held hands. They came in every Sunday holding hands, riding in their car together, doing all these things. And I'm like, how did it happen? But I think this is a great example, right? Because it happens. They grew apart or whatever was going on. Something wasn't being addressed. And then you'll have the couple that's like, not always in each other's face, or maybe even having those heated conversations. I don't know, what do you call those? We have those sayings in the marriage world where, we don't say argue. No. It's those lovingly disagreements. I don't know. But anyway, and it's like, oh my God, they don't, they can't get along, but they're working it out. Right? So yeah, I love the fact that we talk about the change process. And I believe in every relationship, you need to grow together, and understanding that don't compare, right? Because, hey, no one is who's going to pay your bills? Those other people you're comparing yourself to? Who's going to, do this for you? Your peace and your joy is so important. So, I'm a proponent of counseling, a lot of prayer, but being true and transparent to yourself. And you may have to have those tough conversations with your significant other, but it's worth it.
Absolutely. You guys, my lashes over here just doing what it want to do. But and also we talked about Christmas. I just want to say happy Kwanzaa. Let's not forget about Kwanzaa.
Today's the third day, right?
This day is the third day. This is
up until January the 1st, right?
Yes, Kwanzaa. Yes, it is 7 days.
So
right?
Happy Kwanzaa. But Tammy, one of the things that I heard when you was talking about the other people's relationship, they go to the barbershop together, to the hair salon together, and then you like, wow, they divorced. And one of the things that stood out to me is that maybe they did everything together because there was some borderline trust issues. I don't trust you going to XYZ by yourself. So you can't compare to other people's relationships when you don't know what's actually going on in a relationship. Because some people portray themselves to be so happy, but they have all of these trust issues, and that's why they always together. That's good.
Episode is brought to you by Top Inc., Tammy's Outreach Program, where we provide comprehensive services, programs, and resources to the public for the improvement of urban communities. Our services include counseling, educational programs, personal development, and other random acts of kindness. Our goal is to help uplift and support others. We are in partnership with She Elevates podcast because these empowered women empower women. You can follow us, Top Inc., on our Facebook page, TOPINC. Thank you so much, She Elevates, because together, Top Inc. and She Elevates are changing lives.
Also within relationships, you don't want to compromise too much of yourself to be with somebody else. You know, it's okay to agree to disagree, but you need to have whatever your values are. You can't I feel like you can't compromise your values to be in a relationship. And even once you in that relationship, there's like a fine line with growing together and growing apart, because as a person grow, they may just grow apart. There may not be no room for them to grow together, because with life, we all know that there's different seasons and everybody is not meant to go where God has you planned to go. So we got to understand when to actually separate from each other. Everybody is not meant to go with you. So there's a lot of different views on like relationships, whether you're staying together, what does change look like in your relationship? Again, stop comparing your relationship. A lot of people think, well, such as my girlfriend, such and such husband like this. Listen, girl, your husband ain't my husband. I'm not you. So what works for your relationship may not work for my relationship. And you have a lot of people out here that do open marriages, and you have the outside people always throwing their comments in and stuff. Listen, whatever works for you and yours, let that be. Let that work for you guys. It's not for anybody else to understand at all. Long as you understand and your significant other understand, I think a lot of relationships will be a lot better. I think we will have more longer lasting marriages because they know who they are as an individual, and they know who they are as a couple. And when you have those pieces together, you can't do nothing but flourish, because you're not judging the other party. Both parties know what it is that we like to do. There's no compromising in totality of myself. And I don't want nobody to compromise completely who they are just to be with me. Like, that's unfair to them. At that point, when you want a person to compromise everything for you, you're being completely selfish. So all in all, I just think that a lot of relationships really grow and flourish, and you reap the fruit of it is when you're being true to yourself and to your partner, knowing who you are, so you guys can actually grow together strongly.
Or at a minimum, be able to have the information to make a decision as to whether or not you want to grow together strongly. Mm-hmm. This is a lot to unpack. This is such a huge topic. It really is. And, you know, I think to both of your point, there are as many unique situations as there are people. And, you know, you just have to communicate. That's critical, and be very transparent upfront. And, you know, and even if you are, we evolve, we grow, and we can change. Mm-hmm. And just make sure, you know, when we keep the communication open. I think, you know, that's the biggest thing. And then, you know, we decide how or if we're going to move on from there. So yeah, this is a lot.
It is a lot.
Relationships, you guys are two different people. I don't want to be with somebody that's exactly like me. Like, I don't want that. I want to, there may be some things that, you know, that you could teach me that I actually may like, and we can grow together and build off that. So I don't want to.
And that's so interesting because I'm sorry, Tammy. I just wonder if I would like to be with somebody just like me, because I think I'm just like so.
Well, see, now this must be a baby boomer thing, because I was about to go down that lane. I was like, hold up.
I don't want nobody exactly like me. Now, we can have some common things.
We can have some common things, but I'm thinking, guess what? Because my husband will tell you, I'm like, we are so different. You need to be just like me. This is the things you need to do. But I think it's a little bit of selfishness and it's a little immature. So I had to grow to appreciate the differences. So it's like, okay, salt and pepper and, chocolate and vanilla.
And so if you with somebody exactly like you, you're in your comfort zone. You never step out of your comfort zone.
Absolutely. And I will tell you, that's exactly what's happening in my relationship. I'm like, no, I'm not getting a Jaguar. I mean, I got a Pulsar. Who knew that? So he took me so far and I was like, but I have to say it because there was a difference and because there was a trust. So again, Gail said evolving, maturity, right? Mm-hmm. And I love that Jessica talked about trust and we talked about communication. So relationships to me, that's one of those things that it's not easy. I say it will mature you if you stay in a relationship together so each one can be happy. You have to be mature in that. You have to be mature in your relationship and in order to be happy, I believe, because as Jessica said, you don't want to compromise your values. I mean, I'm not a smoker, so that's not going to happen. I'm just saying, so to marry someone who's a smoker and you can't, you don't smoke or you don't like the smell of smoke or whatever. I'm just using that as an example. Mm-hmm. But I like what you're saying to not compromise who you are, your core values. There's going to be some things like, hey, okay, you want to go see the Western movie or whatever, and I want to go see the love story. That's okay. But when we start compromising our core values, that's, I believe, a tricky place because now you're talking about, am I really happy? Am I really happy? Did I enjoy that? Maybe. But
was it just for a moment, So
yeah. It's like, okay.
Be in a moment, especially when it comes to marriage, like this supposed to be a lifelong type partnership. And when you're just, that's the difference though with those temporary feelings. Don't let those temporary feelings, lead you into marriage when that's not ultimately what you want. And then as I speak about marriage, when getting in a relationship, first meeting somebody, dating, I think it should be stated at the beginning of the relationship whether you're dating for marriage or not. Because a lot of people these days, they just want lifelong partners or want to be committed to someone, where mostly women, they're in a relationship dating for marriage. So it needs to be understood that I'm dating for marriage. And when you make that statement that you're dating for marriage, then of course, there's some things within a relationship we need to talk about. I don't believe like being in a relationship forever and then we start to discuss these things and then it's like we're not on the same page and I done wasted all of my time. Mm-hmm. So I feel like you need to in the beginning you need to know what it is that you want and it needs to be stated to the other person.
I agree.
Communication.
And sometimes, and you think about like we're at different places. So where you have the baby boomers and you have the millennials, right? And most of our, I don't know, well, I'm sure we have a wide audience here, but where it depends on where you are, when you're at maybe early 20s or whatever, you're just kind of out there having fun. But when you get to that place where Jessica's saying that you are ready to either settle down, but it should be known, right? It shouldn't be like, I love that honesty. It shouldn't be that I hope we're gonna get married. And look, year 2, year 3, year 4, year 5.
He ain't thinking about no marriage, and you crying here planning a marriage in your head
because you don't want to run him off, right? Yeah. So yeah, it's like come on, then let's move on. We'll move on to the next one. Oh, did I say that?
And it's interesting because we're now speaking through the lens of maturity, but when you're in your early 20s. There's still a lot of play and you're still really young. You're a baby, going on. And I think there's that's a big expectation that early young 20-year-olds would know to have open, honest communication. So yeah, and so
at 20.
In that
vein, I would highly recommend counseling. I think that's why counseling is so important when you're considering marriage or, you know, being in a relationship, because a lot of times when you're in your early 20s like that, you just don't have the
remember you guys. We said you have to mature and grow, and I'm sorry, and your early 20s, I just think that is such, that's a fun state. That's where you're kind of just like,
transitioning into, being a responsible adult.
Oh my goodness. So enjoy yourself.
Like, what time does the club open?
When can I go to dinner?
What am I going to wear?
What am I going to buy today? So you know what that says, then let's not rush right into relationships, right? Because you want to enjoy yourself, you want to have fun. And then when you are at a place, because being in a relationship with a significant other, it does require these things, right? Trust and maturity and communication. And then, there's that, holding true to your values and what they are. So take your time, but be open and honest and transparent, especially with your significant other. To Jessica's point, you don't compare yourself to someone else, because what works for them may not work for you. And if you're happy, now, if you're really not happy, I think that's where we're going, right?
I was just about to say, be in a relationship with yourself first.
Ooh, come on, talk to us,
in a relationship with yourself first before you try to go and get into another relationship. Because half of us don't even know who we are truly to even want the other person to even want us. Like, dang, I'm telling you, sitting with yourself be so ugly. Sometimes you be like,
it's like, can you be like you? Can you be home alone with you? Do you enjoy, as Gail, like, are you the princess in your castle when no one else is around? Yes. Or do you see yourself as lonely and I wish someone else was here with me? Mm-hmm. Because in that moment, right, no one's there, but God has allowed you to be there. So let's embrace it. Whatever state you're in, be content and make the most of it. I love that.
I was honestly just a transparency moment. I was like that after I got divorced. I'm like, okay, now I'm at home by myself. I was like, dang, this different, even though I wanted the divorce, like, shoot, somebody was still here though. But it's just different when like you're at home by yourself. It's like, okay, what do I do? And it made me think about that Will Smith book and how he went on this like hiatus where he couldn't speak or nothing. He just had to sit in his thoughts. And I think he did it for like 21 days. And during those moments of being at home by myself, the kids, but by myself, no significant other there, it was like, ooh, it was revealing. I saw some things about me. And so I can truly say throughout those moments, in my next relationship, I know what I want. I know what I need. But all in all, I know who I am, and I'm going to remain true to myself. And it taught me patience. And so now, instead of me being so quick, because I got married at 20, like super early. And so it taught me patience, really getting to know someone. And I love it. I love it here.
Beautiful.
Nice.
Yeah.
And I just really quickly, wanted to revisit when you talked about comparing. And I think, Jessica, you had mentioned that also. But if you're unhappy in a relationship, comparing your relationship to another is like the worst thing you can do, because we've heard it. Comparison is the thief of joy. And that's just going to make you even sadder. You know what I mean? More. It's going to cause even more of a problem, because the grass always looks greener on the other side. And if you're going by what
Gail. It is because it's
but you know what? Hey, Jessica, my mother would say to us, somebody had to mow that grass. Someone had to pull the weeds out. They had to go out there and plant some grass. There was work required. Okay. You didn't see all that. I'm just saying.
Absolutely.
Yes, it's greener, but there's some work that's involved there.
Yeah. So yeah, that was it. Just don't compare.
Yeah. And because you just really don't know, what are you comparing to, right? You might be comparing to a facade.
What?
Oh, look. Oh, that's not what y'all do when y'all go inside? No, girl.
And then also that moment where you're like, once you're in a relationship and you're trying to figure out, should I stay or should I go? And you hear a lot of people say, well, you know, like Gail, grass not green on the other side or whatever, or shoot, this man, he might be like all the rest of the men. I think when they make comments like that, that means that you really need to be in a relationship with yourself, because that means you're not willing to put in the work. You can't say that one man is going to be like the last man. If you keep living like that, you're going to keep attracting the same man. So just sit still for a minute and get to know you and be in that relationship with yourself.
Ooh, I love it. It.
Yes. Just get a handle on that perspective. First of all, your perspective on life and on people. Yes. And try to put a positive spin on things. It does take time. It takes maturity and growth, just like you said.
But that would be listen to me. That would be such a cool space to be in. Like now I'm in this space where I'm really focusing on me. Getting to know me. What is my perspective? What is it that I really enjoy doing? How can I be happy? Can I, look, speaking of Kwanzaa, do I have that self-determination, or do I need someone else to motivate me? So
is that the third? That's the
second day. That was the second principle. Okay. Self-determination. I was trying to look it up. Yeah, today is about collective. I think, I lost it. Today means collective work and responsibility. Teamwork. And look, teamwork. Hey,
like a marriage.
I'm just saying. Come on, Kwanzaa. Yes,
I love it. Okay, well, as challenging as this topic was, I think we did a good job. Yeah, I think we sufficiently dug into it, even if it was just on the surface. Maybe at some point we'll unpack some of that stuff a little bit, but.
Life is about relationships, right? So like
we do a whole conference on relationships.
I mean, really, yes.
Broken down.
Because what works for someone may not work for you. But it's all good. I just, like Gail said, we like to be in that happy place. We got those rose-colored glasses on. Our lenses are definitely rosy. So we're saying be true whatever state you're in. Be true to you. And find your happy space. Yeah.
Absolutely.
And just to the point of, I'm sorry, Messy. I know you're trying to get messy.
Look, I get
But just to the point of where we are, Tammy, I think that's another thing to know, that where you are, even in your relationship, is just a phase. It's like you're going to evolve. You're not always going to feel the way you feel. And the things that are important to you right now are not always going to be important to you. Where I am now, me and Tammy were in denial about our age, like forever. We like, when are we going to be grown-ups? This was well into our 40s. We were like, when are we going to like really be grown-ups? Because me and Tammy act a little different than most people our age. But what I can appreciate at this age is that you do get a perspective and you have that history to look at of your behavior all throughout that time, how you felt mentally, where you were, and what things are important. So just know that even in relationships, you're not always going to feel the way you feel, and what's important is not always going to be important to you.
Think about that. Was so good. Well said. Because what's important today, I just say this, it may not even be that important to you next year. So you're going to, give up on this, TD Jake says the 80-20 rule, right? You're going to focus in on that 20% that's negative, that you're not happy with, and give up and walk away when 80% of it is really positive. It's really healthy. It's really good. But that 20%, you're like, nope, because he's not doing this, that, and the other. And you walk away. And then a few years later, it's not even that important to you. So be careful, before we make these rash decisions. But definitely, Gil, I love that. We have a different perspective as you grow and mature.
As you grow. And there are no perfect people out here. So that means you know this person's shortcomings or failings or whatever. And if you leave it and you want to trade them for this, you're just trading these shortcomings for these shortcomings.
Exactly.
This is not going to be the perfect man. It's just going to be different. So yeah, just keep on that in mind.
Let's set a goal to be better than the person you were on yesterday.
Ooh,
I like that. I like how Jessica's always turning it back to you.
You know what? Because that's
introspection.
That is so key right now because a lot of times we place our value in relationships, our happiness in relationships. And she's like, first of all, be in a relationship with yourself. Take yourself out. Enjoy yourself. Can you just be in your own castle?
Enjoy yourself. Enjoy it. And I've never sang, but I just felt that in my shower.
See,
I wasn't going to say that because I was hoping we'll get some more throughout the podcast with you.
Okay, Messy, what y'all think?
What's the food
So today, I want to talk about 3 different situations. And it goes with our topic today. So I think it would be really, really great. So unfortunately, this came to us as a surprise to me. Meagan Good and her husband are getting a divorce. And that was just so shocking to me because they seem like
a model couple.
Right? So I was what? And so I saw this on the Shade Room. Of course, y'all know I get all my little mess and drama from the Shade Room.
And I thank you. She's revealing her source. She's like,
that's what the Shade Room does.
They hated it. So but also there was just some different video clips talking throughout their relationship, marriage, or whatever. And it boils down to, in my opinion, I think they compromise too much of themselves to be in their relationship, in their marriage. And then throughout the marriage, it seems like a light bulb or something went off saying, I'm losing too much of myself right now. And I think that's one of the things that they said too, is that they kind of like just grew apart from each other. Like they're still cordial, they still wish the best. They still love each other, but they kind of grew apart. And like I stated, with some of the headlines and some of the different clips that I was listening to, it seems like they just compromise too much of themselves. And like I stated earlier in the podcast, you should never compromise too much of yourself. You should never compromise your core values, because it stated that he didn't like women who smoked or whatever. And at the time she was smoking and she didn't know he was a minister, and she didn't want to date like a minister because she felt like it was going to be too much of pressure on the relationship. And then the way that she dressed, she was comfortable in her own skin, but it wasn't appropriate because of him being a minister. So it was just a whole lot. And then, I think they was already married, and she really didn't see herself as being a mom or whatever. And then it's kind of like later on in the relationship, she's like, oh, I guess I can be a mom. So she never thought about being a mom. And I think he wanted kids. So those were 2 different things that they later found out that, hey, we're on 2 different roads here. And so those type of topics need to be discussed in the early parts of the relationship. Absolutely. So we don't get in a marriage and figure out this stuff later down the road. And now they grew apart. Yeah. So
that is interesting because I guess, there's always compromise in life. But to your point, I guess when they first met or got married, if any of this is true, but I guess at some point, Meagan or whatever her husband, Devon, felt like, it's worth more to get married than it is to say, I don't like somebody who smokes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But then along the line to say, okay, I don't like somebody who smokes. It's really hard for me. But trying to outweigh what, so yeah.
And again, for our listeners, these are just clips that we saw on social media. We're not in their relationship. We don't know what's actually going on in their relationship.
Just surprised that they split up.
Yes. That's like, what?
Yeah, they were one of those. Yeah, it was one of those couples that you're just rooting for, right? It was like, oh my God, look at them. They look so good together. And they had the whole book, right, about the weight and she heard from God. And oh my God, it was like really great seeing opposites though, because what she came in with, and I remember
they did seem very opposite.
Yes, because he actually, I think he kind of checked someone who was talking about her attire, whatever she had on, and they were like,
"Don't do that. We're not gonna do that."
Okay, go ahead, Devon. So yeah, this is really unfortunate.
It is.
Do that again, Gail. Do that one more time, Gail.
A man protected me.
She started to feel like when she was getting ready to do like a sex scene in the show, she called me like, okay, babe, I'm about to do this sex scene. And he supported her all the way. He was like, okay, make it seem real. Like, okay.
I mean, he's a director, right? That's what he does. He produces or directs something.
Yes, he's a movie director.
Because that's how they met on Jump. Is it Jump the Broom? What was the web?
Yeah.
I mean, the movie. Yeah.
That's
the movie.
so sweet.
So yeah.
Okay, Messy.
We don't want this to happen, but hey, it's ultimately
life happens.
In life. Yeah.
And then in other news, we got Steph Curry and Miss Ayesha Curry.
What they doing?
They're saying Steph making 3-pointers.
If I can,
sorry.
Hey, look, that should count for something, right, Gail?
I'm just saying.
Ooh, Stephanie just make me happy.
Ray Allen's score.
Oh, he broke his
all-time threes. Yeah. So
absolutely.
Shout out to Steph for that. I don't think that record will ever be beaten. Like, no, ever. But they're stating that, they're stating that him and his wife has an open marriage. And there's a lot of discussion around that. Again, whatever works, I don't care what they got. Whatever.
What does that mean?
What does that mean? Open marriage, they kind of like have relations with other people, and it's okay.
And it's however they define open marriage.
Yeah,
right. That is even different among couples, right?
Yes.
Open, yes, I could go out to dinner. Hey, I'm out on the road, maybe, but I don't know. To Gail's point, it could be, it's whatever they define as open. But I'm sure the Shade Room has some opinions about what it is.
Whatever works for them. When they say whatever floats your boat.
Whatever floats your boat.
And keeps your marriage together.
Oh my Lord.
That was the thing with Will and Jada. People were saying they had an open marriage, blah, 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 blah. Listen, whatever works for them.
You're saying get out of their marriage, right?
Get out of it.
Get out of their marriage.
Let them be great. Get out of it. And lastly, it was this couple. They just recently went viral. And they talked about their process of their relationship, how they pay their bills. And the woman stated that I think it was her husband, boyfriend, whatever, but he pays all the bills, and her check goes direct deposit into his account. And he gives her $100 a week to, buy whatever she wants. Tammy, like, what? To buy whatever she wants. And, she said if she needs more, she can always ask for more. Whatever works for now with me, that ain't finna flow. I'm sorry.
Oh my God.
Give me no allowance on my money.
Well, first of all, Jessica, you said it went to his account. That should be their account, a joint account, right?
It goes to His account pays all of it. What we're not gonna do.
Okay.
You know what I was thinking, guys? I was thinking, what if she has like a spending problem? Like he may be doing it to protect her.
Yes, that's a good point. I have a girlfriend who hates paying bills to the point where she will pay somebody to pay her bills for her. So I could see her doing that in that instance. If you take this burden that is crushing me off my plate, then we'll come up with the dollar figure that works for me. We'll come up with that, and then I'll take it, and then I'm happy.
You know what? When you said that, yeah, I went to a couple, and it was like, honestly, it was at the point of saying, let him pay the bills. Give him he's better at it. You are just all over the place. So we were conjunct, but it was still a joint thing. But he definitely, had the lead in taking care of that. So yeah, if it's $100, it's $100. It's $100. I just need
to negotiate on that amount.
We're gonna have a day out the month where we're gonna add up all of these bills.
See, we got financial strategies
I'm gonna make sure my portion is allocated to that account. I'm gonna have a portion allocated to the savings, but you're not gonna bird feed me and give me no $100 allowance out of my no.
Oh Lord. And in my marriage, we had one account and I paid all the bills, but all the money was in Tammy, to your point, one account, because that's what he liked, and I loved handling the money and money management and all of that. That was my thing. So I got the spreadsheets, I got the books, and I got this. I can pay all the bills,
and I think that's important.
But I wasn't doling out money. We both had cards to that account. And
I think Jessica's point, it's about this individual. See, I thought you were going to tell me. I thought the Shade Room was coming up with another millionaire, some billionaire, and he gave her like $100,000 a month.
$100,000.
I don't know. I just thought it was going to be $100 a month. So yeah, but
she got paid like it was $100. So,
but you know what? To Antoinette's point,
he got hyperinflation. $100 ain't nothing.
He might have a real issue, and he is like, look, if I give her all the money, we're gonna be in the poorhouse, right?
And we're assuming we know how much they make annually. If he makes $20,000 and she makes $20,000, and it's $40,000 in their household, then bills come up to $38,000. $100 might be real reasonable.
Come through, and look, we done took care of all the groceries, everything else. So this $100 is your play money.
Good point.
Which may be tons of money.
Women, we used to have a financial strategist class, and so we can teach y'all how to manage your money, because
and grow your money.
And grow. Because ain't nobody gonna just give me no $100 out of my money.
What do you call it? Bird? What do you call it?
Jessica know is you are not giving me $100 a month.
Not happening.
It ain't gonna happen.
And see, that's where we're going. Let's not even get in that lane, because we can't really process it. We're trying. Antoinette brought in a good perspective. We were there, but see how we flipped. We're back over here like,
not happening.
It's not happening.
So all in all, I thought those was very, very good topics about.
They were good. They really tied into what we're doing. And thank you, Antoinette, for jumping in. We love you.
Yeah, she come out to play every now and then.
And she come out with the big guns, though.
Yeah, that was good. That was a good one.
Okay, so we're going to give you some execution steps. And these are 3 behaviors that help promote a healthy relationship, because we're all about elevation and elevating. We're not going to focus on the negative. We're going to keep it positive. So number 1 is communication. And you heard that all throughout the podcast. You have to have an open and honest communication. You never want to stop learning about each other or growing together. Number 2 is mutual respect. You heard that. Beyond dates, a healthy sex life, and simply enjoying each other's company, which are all very important. Partners in a healthy relationship fundamentally appreciate each other's values and choices. And Jessica talked about that also. And the third one is partnership. Both partners have to feel comfortable about bringing up issues issues, annoyances, and fears without worrying about their concerns being ignored or worse, retaliated against. You have to be a safe space. So that's the third thing, partnership. And our quote of the day comes from Steve Maraboli. It's a healthy relationship is one in which love enriches you, not imprisons you.
Ooh. That's good.
That's it.
Jail becoming
Enriches you, not imprison you.
Not imprisons you.
Ooh, come on, know when you are
being.
being. You need to know when you're being in prison, right?
Even if it's in your mind,
Mm-mm.
because you're not happy.
Because you're
Yeah.
not happy,
That was
right?
good.
Right.
That was good.
I love it. Yes, and I love how the today's principle for Kwanzaa, it is that collective work.
See how
And
we
we talking about
alignment? See how everything being aligned?
Yes, and responsibility, and they
Yes.
both apply, right? For a healthy
both
relationship.
apply.
We got to do this.
Yes.
It takes work, right?
Yeah,
But we got to do it together.
And
Good
we're
job.
going to put the
Thanks,
work
Dale.
in.
Come
Absolutely.
on, Dale. You're doing the
Absolutely.
work.
It's all about
Yes.
empowerment.
It's worth it. It's worth it.
It's worth it. Okay, ladies, I think we've done a podcast. We've done the last podcast of the year.
That's crazy. We're almost at episode 20, man. That is crazy.
Oh my goodness.
Whew.
It's very exciting. We just started this podcast in August. And we are going
Unbelievable.
hard. We done finished out the year. Okay, well, looking forward to 2022 and great relationships,
Yes.
enhancing our relationship. Yeah, we're going to call that season 2. This was our
Yes.
season 1.
Dude,
Yes.
and guys, remember the next live episode will be at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So we're
Switching
gonna
up.
Good point.
Yeah,
Good
I'm
point.
so excited.
Oh, you know, that's almost like you're going to prime time, right? It's like we're
It
moving.
does.
Yes, yes.
And you
7
know
o'clock.
what? I just wanted to say this also because the COVID counts are upticking right now, and it's a whole lot going on. So I don't know if they're going to start shutting things down, which it looks like they very well could be. But prayerfully we'll be able to get together live, and if not, we're going to be here either way.
We
But
will be recording. Yes.
Just be safe. We want everybody to
safe.
be
I
safe.
just send some prayers up for me as I travel.
Absolutely. Just cover up. Put on
Yeah.
2 masks.
Put your mask. KN95.
All right, guys. Well, until next week and next year, have an amazing day.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Bye.
Oh my God.
I know.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
Tammy, you not gonna hit us with the elevator?
Oh. Elevator. Elevator. Elevate.
Elevate. Where you
Oh,
at, Gail? Bye.
Bye.
I work on my moves.